This is what's called a backyard cottage. It's similar to a carriage house. So this is essentially an adjunct to the main house. And this is a new idea for Seattle in that Seattle's zoning is primarily single family. My firm was advocating for being able to allow these in part because it just gives us a lot more housing options. Hi, I'm Matt Hutchins and I'm the architect.
As far as the backyard cottages, we had been following that. We were pretty much on top of it as soon as we heard that it was going to be passed.
And once it passed, we were right on it. I think it passed in November and we had Matt by December.
I'm Ken.
I'm Marilyn.
And this is our small home.
First thing he asked was, what did we want in it? I can still see him in our muddy backyard walking through trying to map out things of where it would be.
We wanted it to blend in with the neighborhood. We didn't want it to stand out as something totally different.
Our house was built in 1926, so we wanted the cottage to look like it had been here that long as well. So it needed to kind of fit in with the hood.
In this neighborhood, there are a lot of turn-of-the-century bungalows, sort of, small, similar-sized houses. The things that give this house that kind of bungalow aesthetic, one is using a kind of a steep gable with the dormer, with the trellis detail helps to scale it. The materials, the cedar, the eave details, and the gutters all kind of harken back to the turn-of-the-century house that in Seattle we have tons of.
He was just interested in building a small space, that was livable, I guess that's one thing, you wanted a small house, but you wanted to feel like a big house.
One of the primary tactics was to concentrate storage and open the plan. What we end up having is the kitchen, the stairwell, the powder room, and the entry all kind of are sort of solid objects.
One of the first things I showed Matt was, look at these stairs. It was in a paper and it was like, this is what we need. Then I asked him, and you know how big an album is, right? 12 by 12, close? No, 13 by 13. So as long as we had enough space for things, we were good.
But then on the other side, we have the dining room, living room, kitchen, where that's all glass and that all faces the yard. One of the great things about building small is that you can allocate a lot of your construction budget towards higher quality. If you have a large house, sometimes you can't always afford everything that you want to end up having. So they have really interesting stone countertop. A friend of theirs built all the cabinetry, so all the cabinetry is custom. Plus they could do, because there's not a lot of trim, because of the size of the house, it's all VG fir trim. If you extrapolate that to a 4,000 square foot house, you rapidly run out of money.
We've always done things that we liked, but that's because we lived in it. And then the cottage, we kind of did the same thing, not knowing that everyone else would think, oh, that's a good idea, that's cute, that looks nice. So you make it so that it's comfortable for you to live in because you're going to be the ones that are here all the time.
I don't think there's anything that I would do differently. I just really like the way it turned out. Like I said, I feel like I'm on vacation all the time.
I think the big lesson for this house is, is to really prioritize what's important. And that's a really personal decision. I think a lot of people, when designing a house, make decisions based on maybe what they feel like other people might want, or what the norm is. And really, you don't need all that to be happy. This is a great house. It lives wonderfully. It feels much larger than it actually is. And that's just a factor of, because it is that sort of essential living that, it perfectly satisfies their needs.